Good evening, beautiful people. Just wanted to stop by and tap in with you for a few minutes and just kind of share something that I'm pretty excited about announcing. For the last 6 weeks or so, I really been in deep contemplation, really trying to figure out um, to what extent I'm going to move around in this social media space. And for those of you who've been tuning in, you've been seeing me experimenting a little bit with podcasting. And those of you on Facebook, I've worked pretty hard to like set up a little platform or a space to be able to just sit and talk about a wide variety of topics and just share opinions and share perspectives. And if nothing else, just give you something to look at it and make you say, And so I've been really thinking about what the power and the benefit of social media is and how I can make it a little bit more meaningful in my life. And so what I came to the conclusion and the revelation this morning about is that, you know, I want to use my social media imprint and my footprint and my voice to do something that's been done for decades, just in different digital formats. So for those of you that grew up in the 1900s, as I say, you can remember back when we had Polaroid cameras, right? You take pictures that captures moments, and we all had that time when we come back in our early 20s, 30s, and we would sit in grandmom's house or sit in auntie's house, or somebody would have some despicable pictures of you in your yesteryear or in another version of form of yourself. But it was just cool to be able to just look at that picture and just remember that moment, like because pictures capture moments, and to be able to go back in your mind and remember exactly where you're at when that picture was taken, right? And then we moved our way into the camcorders, the VCRs, and then moved into being able to create DVDs, et cetera, et cetera. And now we're in a space where like you can plug in a mic into your computer or your phone and press record, right? And it can capture your life. And so I thought about it, and I understand the power of that, right? Not only do we have opportunities to connect and share our ideas and have it spread out all over the world if we're lucky, right? But I was thinking, how can I make my social media imprint, meaningful and very valid to me? And what I came up with is I just started thinking, knock on wood, neither one of my children are expecting, but I was thinking, it would be cool to be able to have my grandchildren or my grandchildren's grandchildren be able to tap in and turn on and just see me in my true version of myself at that time, just talking about my experiences and talking about, my perspectives and my thoughts on any number of things, and just to be able to get it authentically from me, right? I'm in a space where I talk a lot about legacy building, and legacy building, to me is about how other people remember you, how other people speak about you, right? How you register in their minds and their hearts. And I just was thinking to be able to have a series or just some random talks where I'm just sharing my thoughts on any number of things. It could be something I think is profound, or it can just be something petty, but just to be able to share my take on certain things and then have my grandchildren have access to that, right? I can sit and look at some Polaroid films of, my grandmother or my mother, and kind of, draw back to those days and times. But as I get older, those memories become a little bit more fuzzier, right? And so I just was thinking, the digital age is not going anywhere. And obviously, at some point, podcasting will become obsolete and they'll have something new that they're doing in the future. But I was thinking I would want my grandchildren to be able to hear straight from the horse's mouth who I am, what I think, what I care about, what my perspective and experiences have been, what vantage points and expertise I may have to lend. And then that way, maybe they can just be a little bit more connected and get a better sense of who granddad was, right? And again, I don't have any grandchildren coming down the pipe, but I'm really thinking about, what do I want to leave as a lasting representation of me? And I've worked hard to create a better, bolder version of who I am, and I'm very proud of it. I still have work to do every day. I'm working on becoming better and better at who I want to become and how I want to show up in the eyes of others, right? And so I was thinking, just being able to put together this nice little space where I can just share who I am, and it doesn't even matter if one person views it or if a million people view it. I know that my heart and my mind are always going to be in a very authentic and very loving heart posture. And the things that I share are my perspectives and mine alone. I'm not asking anyone to co-sign. I'm not asking anybody to agree. And, if they agree, that's great. If they disagree, then I've done you a service because I've given you an opportunity to at least think about how you think about anything that I'm discussing. And so, that has given me the courage and given me the actual, real push over that line to be like, yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm still going to be affiliated with other podcasts and other opportunities to connect with people. But I just feel like there's just so many things that, I think about, and so many things that I may share with the intimate group of people I trust, or I might talk about it in the boardroom at the school district, might talk about it in the barbershop. Well, I don't really go to barbershop no more, but I might talk about it in a place where people frequent, they get together, right? And so I just want to have it captured. I think it'd just be so cool. And the second part is that I understand this thing that we all get to understand once you get to be of a certain age, right? And there's this old, wise proverb that says, a man should not see things the same way at 30 as he did at 20, and he shouldn't see the same things at 40 that he did at 30, and so on and so on. And so I think it'd be actually cool to be able to revisit these, every 5, 10 years, 15 years, or whatever, and just kind of like think and see exactly where I was at in that space when I was talking about that topic, and then do a little bit of a self-appraisal and figure out whether or not I still am residing at those particular points of view, or if those have changed, right? I just think that's just a cool thing. Maybe it's just the historian in me, but I think that it'd be absolutely cool for me to be able to track my growth. And I got to thank Facebook for that, because if all of you that actually frequent Facebook, you know that Facebook will send you something that you did 3 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, and you give you the opportunity to just revisit where you were at when you posted that thing. And so I was like, you know what, why not just, digitize that, put a face to it, and just give myself an opportunity every so once in a while to just check in and see, have I had a growth, right? Have I had a change of heart, of opinion? Have I became more educated on something? And now I take a different position than what I did when I first said it. But what I do hold to be true, and the thing I'm proud of, is that anything that I say over these airwaves is something that I'm going to stand on, right? I like to be correct and not right. So if I misspeak along the way, I'll be the first person in the comments, or the first person to do another video to clean up whatever it is. But what I do know is that I do have some things to say that are of value, right? I do have some perspectives, and I do have a set of life experiences that can benefit someone, even if it's only one person or if it's 10 people, right? I do know that I have something to leave this world. I know something to give this world and peoples within this world that help them to become a better version of themselves. And so I feel completely encouraged in taking this route, right? And then ultimately, the last 15 years of my life, I've really, really worked myself into a position to try to be of service to other people. And so I feel like it'd be a great thing for people to just see that somebody can actually get up here. And I'm not, by no means, no stretch of the imagination, I am not a celebrity. I'm not famous. And the fact that I am an ordinary person should not disqualify me from being able to deposit my viewpoints, right? I think that I stand firm on this belief that everyone has a voice, and everyone should have an opportunity to surface exactly where they're at. Now, that doesn't mean that it should go unchallenged, but I think that people should have an opportunity to share who they are, what they think, and their perspectives. And if someone else benefits from it, great. If someone else, feels abrasive about it or is an opponent of it, I think that discourse and debate is a great thing to sharpen the mind. So feel free in the comments and anything that I put out, to put your thoughts out there, right? The worst thing that can happen is that we just disagree, and for most of you, that's not criteria for our friendship, relationship, connected, what do they call those people? People that are acquaintances, whatever level of relationship you and I have, you and I not agreeing on something is not going to be the grounds for me to dissolve whatever it is that we have. I mean, I won't allow someone to intimidate or try to bully me or try to guilt me or try to, what's that other word that people use? Pulpit me and coming down off my views. If you share something with me that changes my perspective, I will thank you from the bottom of my heart, because again, I want to be correct, not right. And I think most people are not willing to be challenged. I don't think most people are willing to be transparent enough for people to be able to look at and see and scrutinize their thoughts and ideas without getting butthurt about it, right? So for me, this is just something that I was thinking about all day. I've had a wonderful day at work. I love what I do. Being an educator for me is my dream come true. That's one of my magnificent obsessions. And so I get to talk to young people and to try to inspire young people, to give grace to young people, to give space for young people to just figure things out. And that's how I align my life. Like, if you ever have a conversation with me, I feel like the goal is for me to leave you in a better place before you had that conversation with me, and or vice versa. So for those of you that know me through and through, this is just pretty much a full circle and me actually coming to grips with what my form and what my tasking is socially. And so for those of you that have been thinking, man, this dude right here needs to put this together, he should have did this 10 years ago. I'm sorry, I had to do it on my and God's time, right? I just had to work through my own things. And now I'm really at a point where I'm willing to take the responsibility and to take on the challenge of just being transparent and vulnerable and just sharing things. So for those of you, if you got to this point, man, I appreciate you for rocking with me. What I plan on doing with this particular series, I haven't came up with a name yet. I'll think about it, maybe talk with Chat GPT about it and kind of get something that's a little bit more indicative of my vision for it. But the goal is I'm just going to tap in with you guys and just talk stories, just tell you something that may be from the past, it may be from my present, it may be a future aspiration, right? It might be something motivational, it might be a rant, it might be trolling, right? It can take any number of forms, but the one thing I can guarantee is that it's going to be authentically for me. That's how I feel. I don't feel pressured by anyone or any entity to do things for a look. And so I think it's going to be completely therapeutic and completely self-serving for me to be able to do something that I've been thinking about for a while, and then actually see how that actually helps to impact my life and make me better. So what I want you people to do for me in the comments is if you got some topics or some things that you don't mind hearing somebody ramble on and discuss, or just wanting to pick my brain about anything, just drop it down in the little comment below and I'll get to it. I got a handful of things that I just want to say because I just want to talk about it, right? But I'm always open for suggestions. I don't think that there are that many topics that I'm going to be leery about talking about, but I do have a livelihood, so I want to make sure that I always make sure I represent Santa Paula School District in the right way. And then I also have a moral responsibility to make sure that everything that I say, is genuine. It comes from me, but to be mindful that others should have a right to say, hey, you know what, I like what, or I dislike what you're saying, yada, yada, yada. But let's make sure that we're respectful in the way in which we approach things. So I'll try and be respectful, right, in everything that I discuss. But it is going to be real, authentic, and it's going to be sincere. So thank y'all for rocking with me. Stay tuned. Help your boy out. Give me some things, some topics to talk about, some things to rant about, some things to edify, some things to uplift, some things to dissect. Right, some things you just kick around, and let's just have some fun with this. Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's a win-win. Anyone that witnesses these things that I'm trying to do should at least see that I'm a man that's trying my best to continue to be the best version of myself as I can. But then I also want to be an inspiration, or at least part of those seeds that are planted that may cause somebody else to go down that path to find their best version of themselves. So until the next login, the next check-in, thank you for rocking with me. I'm out.